And thank you for everyone hearing, for letting me talk tonight. It's great to speak to everybody. Right, so Match Mums, basically, the point of us of why we exist is to help and support and give information to mums that are going through the process of being separated from their children, whether it's like early on, like a few weeks into the separation, or have been separated for years. We are there to help them. And our policy in our constitution basically is the preservation and protection of good mental health of mothers living apart from their children by the provision of this information and support. And that is our main policy. What we do as a charity, we have a free phone line for mothers to ring up and talk to us. And the call handlers are all mums that have either been through the separation or actually still involved or whatever the situation, but they've all got personal experience. So they can talk to this new mum that's finding this new situation appears and the trauma they're in, and basically show them that they're not alone and that we understand, which is really the comforting part that we fill up. That's our aim, really. So MatchMothers has been around this year. Is actually on the 22nd, not year, this week, on the 22nd of February, it'll be 45 years that we've been in existence, which is amazing. I know it's not as much as Families Need Fathers, but we're close. And so we're doing really well and helping these mums. And generally, we have an sort of a rotating membership number. Usually, the amount of members we have is usually around 300. And I would say some mothers stay with us for a long time, some come in and out, really sort of flight in and out. So it's generally that number, and we can help and support all of them, which is really good. Right. Now, the thing that we're doing, we're really proud of, is that we are involved with lots of organisations. We're actually on the board for CAFCAS. We are first hand with the HMRC and the courts. And we've also, Department of Justice, turned to us and asked us to join them for information. Obviously, we know the Families Need Fathers, the NSPCC, Family Lives. There are many organisations that come to us for help, and they send people to us directly, knowing that we can help people. And that's our main aim, really. The big thing that we're doing at the moment with CAFCAS is that we have actually been able to change the policies that they had. They had a policy in for the complaint system, and we picked up on something that they wasn't covering everything that we needed. So we actually commented on it, and they changed their wording in their policy, which was really good. But we've also, as we speak to the top lady in the CAFCAS complaints procedure, which is a lady called Sophie, oh gosh, what is her surname? Sophie. Anyway, Sophie. I've got her email. I can contact her and tell her if I've got a member that has actually contacted me, said that her complaint is not being taken seriously or properly. I can contact and she will then get onto it. And at the moment, we've got a case going through, which the mother has been trying to get this complaint through. She's been ignored. She can't get through. The phone line's busy or the phone line's not manned. Therefore, she came to me and said, "Can you help?" So I got in touch with Sophie. Sophie got straight on to the CAFCAS court person that was dealing with the case, spoke to her boss. Her boss then sorted it out with her, and the lady's in court this Wednesday actually to sort it all out, thanks to the situation. But I mean, we have to delve into that far to make things change, really. But we want to help all our mums. We go to any length to help. We've got a good team of people that are involved and a good legal team that help us as well. So we're very happy with our situation at the moment. We want to keep helping. Obviously, the less mums that are around, the better. And I'm sure the fathers would say the same. The less men that want our help is the better situation. That's it, really. Thank you. You're on mute.
Thank you very much, Ros. I'm going to steal the first question. What would you say would be the main difference? I don't know whether you have this experience, or mum's experience of the court versus dad's.
Gosh.
You can say you don't know.
Well, I'm just talking on my own experience. My experience was 4 years I was in court, ending on 2004, a long time ago now. But when it happened to me, straight away, and while the actual 4 years in court, the judge made sure that I was having contact with the children as well as the dad. It was always a 50-50. It was never going to separate and cause just one parent having the full access to the children. It was always shared between the two parents. That doesn't seem to ever be around anymore. The number of times you hear one parent having all the access and all the residency, and the other one having no contact at all. And that is where it's wrong.
Okay, over to everybody else for questions. On to Ros Barton, MatchMothers. Alan's got his hand up.
Hello, Alan.
Hi there, Ros. My question is, is building on what you just said, really, and also the question that I asked to Baroness Butler-Sloss, because there does seem to have been a change, perhaps, in I don't know if you agree with this or not, but in Kafkas's approach to cases. And obviously, when you've got a judge, like in the example you've given, of your case, where you've got a judge who's taking the decision early on, and that's also what happens in Pathfinder. A judge can make a sensible decision about things like interim arrangements. But of course, where you've got magistrates, and the vast majority of cases are dealt with by lay magistrates, I've yet to see a case where the lay magistrates don't follow the recommendation from Kafkas. And Kafkas has its own policy view that's developed about things like the undesirability of interim contact. And it's so I don't know if that also chimes with what you're seeing, but if we can change lots of things in the law, but actually if what happens on the ground is what's being recommended by Kafkas to magistrates, if we can't change that, it's not going to make difference to a lot of cases.
Yeah, I see your point. That's important. I mean, that's where perhaps this is where something I can go in, being on the board with the Kafkas people. I can make a difference there. I will try. I can see your point. Yeah, true. Definitely.
Any more questions? Do you feel, Ros, that the situation is getting better or getting worse for the people that you meet, or remaining the same?
Remaining the same. It's just not getting any better. I just want to see. Obviously, yeah, we do hear some good news stories. I mean, that's what keeps us going, really, because we know there is some good news stories out there. But it's very rare, and you hear a lot of the same thing being turned over and over again, and they're not getting. Mums are doing as much as they can to have some contact with their children, and nothing's going in their favour. And I can't see why it doesn't happen. As I'm sure the fathers see with the fathers not having contact. It's really important both parents have contact, definitely.
It is rather worrying that you've been going 45 years and Families Need Fathers have been going, I don't know, more than that. Yeah. And the situation seems to be either as bad as it's ever been or worse.
That's true. I mean, I'm just so glad. I mean, it's just so nice when people do call us on our line and say, we are so glad we found you, but we shouldn't be here in the first place. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, yes, it's great that we can help them, but that's not the point.
Okay. Anyway, we've got another question, Nick. We've got two more questions. Nick.
Yeah. Thank you again for giving this evidence. If there was one single issue, what would it be? And what's your experience of Kafkas as well?
One single issue?
Yes.
It could be in the court that happens when you're in the court.
Yes.
It's usually I hate to say mental health problems. No, these mums have been raising their children fine for all these years, go to court, they get accused of mental health problems, and then they have to prove it. They have to go see a psychiatrist, they have to see whatever the situation is, and it delays their contact with their children. And they're absolutely fine. They were okay last, say, a month ago or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden they're now being told they can't see the children because they've got mental health problems, and that causes them to have mental health problems. The thing is, it's a domino effect, because if you say that, then they start to think, well, perhaps I have got mental health problems, and it's a domino effect. So that is the main issue that comes up when they're in court, definitely.
It's kind of interesting to the parallel to some of the stories we hear from dads, where they feel that they became more, not abusive, but you know what I mean, they became worse as a result of being accused of being bad.
Yeah. And the thing is with mums, we've got the stigma because mums should have access. You know, if they haven't got their children with them, there's a huge stigma from society. Oh, look at that mum, she hasn't got her kids anymore. She must be horrible.
Yeah.
And that's the end, and that just makes it worse.
Thank you. And Catherine.
The Baroness has her hand up as well, so perhaps if she'd like to go first, I don't mind.
Well, that's very kind. I'm just wondering whether or not our speaker, Ros, has actually had anything to do with Pathfinder.
No, I haven't.
Well, I'm just wondering whether it would be worth looking to see what the CAFCAS impact report and how the judges are dealing with that in the 2 courts where it's happening, which are North Wales and Dorset, to see whether or not any of these sort of issues, like mental health issues, how they're dealing with them. Because it may be you could, among others, give input to the Pathfinder pilot on dealing with these issues. And I'm just wondering, ask Mike, are we getting somebody from CAFCAS to come and talk to us?
We don't have anybody planned yet.
But I think we should have.
Okay.
Because CAFCAS is, I think, going to become increasingly important.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Catherine now.
Fantastic. Just while I remember, the Ministry of Justice has just published an annex which contains some very useful information. I'll make sure people get a link to that. It tells you more about what Pathfinder has been doing and the positive progress to date. And over to Catherine. We've got 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'll keep it very brief. Ros, I was just wondering whether, and it's maybe a difficult question for you to answer, given that you're representing women and you have women coming to you with issues. But do you think that mothers are being perhaps wrongly held to higher standards than fathers when it comes to their behaviours and where contact's interrupted? The reason I say that is because I represent both mothers and fathers, often in some quite awful cases. And whilst men will complain that they're not taken seriously enough as parents and that they are somehow given a back seat or less important, do you think that too much importance is placed on the role of a mother in the court? And perhaps she's sort of, if she behaves in a certain way or has, like you said, mental health problems, she's perhaps held slightly higher in account.
Yeah, I can see that, but I wouldn't say that actually, because the mothers have, I know there's a lot of weight put on the mother's role in the in the family situation, but no, I'd say it was equal actually with the fathers. The amount of these days, definitely, I'd say it was equal to the mother and father, the weight put on them.